Assalamualaikum everyone. Welcome back to our humble show, weekly show, Warzone Show. A part of Iium Radio Network. Here is DJ REEM.
And I'm DJ WAWA.
Unfortunately, DJ AINU won't be joining us for today due to scheduled classes, right?
Yeah, so it's very unfortunate because we actually need her because she's part of our team.
Yeah, but
so REEM, I would like to share my last week's experience of using social media, Twitter, to be precise. So I scrolled down to Twitter, and I can roughly judge that people are discussing about few controversial things.
Yeah.
Big issues like the issues of vaccination, whether it is haram or halal.
Yeah.
And the tragedy happened in Johor.
Yeah.
And then climate changes and a lot.
A lot of things. Yeah, many people are concerning about several issues and topics on social media nowadays. Like even yesterday, I was having a rough conversation with my friends, like of an issue of the right age of getting married, and even we suddenly jump out of context topic, which is LGBT things.
Wow.
So I mean, there are a lot of topics that really raised recently and taking all people attention and concern.
Yeah.
Right?
So I can say you are surrounded by intellectual people.
No.
Because me and my friend would probably discuss random things, like toothbrush.
Yeah, that was random specifically.
Okay. So yeah, that's for today's episode. We have listed down you guys, the FM listeners.
Yeah.
Several topics that we have came across on social media. So if you're looking for a place where people would share their information,
ideas, opinions,
to enlighten with different aspects of an issue, so you guys are in the right place.
Yeah, you are in the right place. So today it's an unusual episode because today it's not people talk, it's the brains talk. So this broadcast really show us how we can all learn, live and thrive off of each other by sharing our knowledge, experience. Through our conversation, we will impart you with some knowledge while learning ourselves how to progress even further, right?
True. So today we have two students
who
are part of debate club in IIUM. So the club basically has represented the university on several debate competitions.
Yeah.
And even last 2 weeks ago on the 11th Malaysia debate event.
Recently,
because as we said before, it's the brains talk today. So we brought to you guys two intellectual brains here.
Yay.
Who will lead the conversation today. So please welcome Sis Aida and Bro.
Hello. Thank you for
Welcome,
having us here.
Welcome, guys.
Our humble show.
Thank you so much.
How are you feeling?
I'm feeling okay. We just finished an exam just now.
So both of you took the exam.
Yep.
Yeah.
How was it?
Okay.
It was okay,
It was fine.
So now you're chilling, right?
Yes.
So did you guys have your lunch already?
What lines?
Lunch.
Lunch. Oh yeah, we had lunch. Yeah.
Yeah, I had lunch, but early lunch, yeah.
So very in a good condition, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
We're hoping so. So before we start, we will have a few minutes break, guys, and we will continue later. See ya.
Hello, welcome back to Warzone Show, where people wish and we grant. Okay, so welcome again, Sis Aida and Bro Hilmy.
Yeah, welcome to
Hello.
our show.
So we really appreciate you guys present.
Your presence here with us.
With us. So
Before we start, can you guys tell us a little bit about you guys? How would you describe yourself to people, to listeners?
Hi, I'm Aida. I'm a third-year law student.
Oh, okay.
I'm also a debater, and I go to debate tournaments under the banner IUM. And on the side, I also write for a website.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's called masters.com.my. You guys should check it out. And I also sing. And I also sing and...
You also sing?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I was here before. They invited me to perform, to sing.
That's
air.
pretty cool. So we will listen to your voice later, right? You'll let us know?
I guess.
Alright, what about you, bro? Hello.
My name's Hilmy. I'm also a third-year law student. On this side, I debate. I'm also one of the trainers for the debate club.
Oh.
So yeah. So essentially,
We should join. WAWA.
yes, all of you should join.
We need to have a better English here.
Yeah.
A better way to discuss things.
Okay. So, guys, we have brought you. We have a bunch of topics that will be discussed today.
All right.
So the first one is
First one would be motherhood versus work. Second one is the use of smartphone during lecture. Third one is adoption. Fourth, university and uniform. Fifth is a traditional online shopping. Sixth is education. The seventh is a free sanitary baths. And the eighth one, the last one, is celebrities as a role model
Yes.
for people. So we're going through them one by one. So let's also start with motherhood versus work. So I'm gonna position you guys first for this topic. So for example, you, Aida, will be will be in a favor of motherhood, and you, bro,
I think we should
Hilmy.
change.
Oh really? All right, let's change.
whatever you like.
You're in a favor of work.
Yeah.
And you, bro, Hilmy, in a favor of motherhood.
Sure.
So let's start.
Oh, okay. So do I just start now?
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Do I have any time limits though?
I mean, yeah.
Should we give it the time limit?
Wow.
Or maybe you can just.
Make it like 3 minutes tops.
Three
All right.
minutes?
Yep.
3 minutes, yeah.
3 minutes per percent.
Because we have lots of time.
Yeah.
Yes.
So let's go with it.
So I can time.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
All right. So in defending in favor of motherhood. I guess the first is motherhood is good only insofar as people are not forced to become mothers. So we can see this in a lot of societies where some women are expected to become mothers rather
Yeah.
than it being like a fully consensual choice. So motherhood in its essence is a beautiful thing, but in a world where a lot of women are forced to become mothers, that's sort of something that sort of personally am against as well. So I guess the first thing is just to explain like that motherhood is a amazing thing, but only if it's free by choice. Second is, I guess the thing about motherhood is that there's another level of satisfaction that other things can't give you. So this is like basically generally like how everyone who is currently living always wants to pursue happiness, but sometimes it's often the things which are closest to us, i.e. mothers, and also like to a mother, the child, and seeing the child grow and be successful might necessarily be the best version of happiness a person might necessarily get. Compare that to other things, so like getting clothes or like buying the most expensive stuff, or even to an extent getting a college degree wouldn't give you that much of satisfaction as opposed to actually seeing a living human being being brought up by your own hands. And I feel like those are the two reasons I guess you can say motherhood is good, because it is a better version of happiness compared to all other things.
Yeah.
Right?
Well spoke.
Yeah, I feel like it's important that women pursue to climb up the economic ladder, especially in a world where like capitalism is killing everyone.
Yeah.
Like everyone's burdened by the fact that you sometimes can't afford certain things, and it's important for like mothers, women, to have that empowerment to be able to be financially independent, for instance, right? And I think that in a world where there's a lot of glorification of being a mother, sometimes women can't get out of that box. This means that they don't have the freedom to choose that they want to pursue the economic ladder. So I think that it's preferable for women to essentially choose to get out of that box and pursue economic empowerment, because of the fact that you have to go against the social norms and go against the patriarchal system, because all these things make you essentially dependent on the for instance your husband or your fathers, and I don't think that's necessarily beneficial for women in general, right? Because at the end of the day, they don't really have a say of the choices that they make. For instance, like wanting to purchase a car, for instance, wanting to purchase a house, if they don't have that financial independence, they won't be able to make all those choices. And all those choices are necessarily important for their life and for the betterment of their quality of life, right? Yeah. So yeah, I think that's why.
So what do you think about the current position of women today? I mean, is it in a favor of work or a favor of motherhood?
I think we have progressed to a world where women are encouraged to go and work, to be financially independent, to pursue their career before they get married. And I think that's good.
Yeah, I think right now there's more of a balance, because I don't think so as much as some exist, but I don't feel like the general pressure of women to actually become mothers are actually that high now, given that we sort of realize that having more women working in the economy is actually a really good thing. So I guess that's why, although I agree, like some places might still have some pressure, but in general, I guess
our
it's changing.
concern here is also about how I mean the children. I mean, what would be the consequences, like, of the mother had his like she has her own work while she's having children? I mean, what will happen to children while she's not there for him?
Have a house husband. I feel like it's time the roles are reversed.
I think we should normalize house.
I don't think it's an absolutely bad thing.
So
Also, I don't think that.
I mean, how she could balance between work and motherhood at the same time, like at the same time we maintain the child. I mean, feelings, emotional states, and that's all.
To be realistic, I don't think it's actually that extremely hard. So for example, right, so a working woman or a person who goes to work, so like for example the woman here goes to work 6, 7, 8 a.m. The kid goes to school at 7. You don't see them for a whole day. Most probably they have religious school after classes after 2, and then usually there are religious classes or extracurricular stuff ends at 6 or 7. You come home by 8 after work. So it makes no difference actually.
Busy days,
yeah, so realistically speaking, it's not that hard.
Not as it was to be.
Okay, so that's very well spoken. Okay, thank you. Okay, so shall we proceed with the second topic?
Yeah.
Okay.
All right, sure.
So the second topic is smartphone in class. So whether should let the student to use your students to use their phone or any gadget in class. So let's start.
So
I think okay, let me just
This
say.
Aida's thing.
I think students should use their smartphones in class.
So you're in the opposite.
So yeah, he would have to defend.
Yeah.
I think especially when we're in the digital age, right?
Yeah.
So a lot of things are on your smartphone, like for instance your presentation slides or your notes and everything. Sometimes people write notes on their phones even, right? So I feel like to restrict that, it's it doesn't it doesn't give people the choice to maximize the ability for them to understand certain things. For instance, like a lot of people will Google stuff during a lecture, Google stuff about the lecture, in fact, right? So this is like beside the point that sometimes people go on social media, but that's something that people do all the time. But it's like that still doesn't negate the fact that sometimes we need our smartphones to do more research about what the lecturer is talking about and stuff like that. I think it's beneficial, essentially. Yeah.
So I also personally always use a laptop in class, so I type notes and everything. Also Aida as well, she's been like my classmate for a long time. I think the thing about gadgets and all this electronics is a level of self-control is important. Like, yes, it can be very useful to have all of these gadgets, but sometimes us as human beings, we just let ourselves slip away, and like sometimes just our attention span isn't as long as the class is.
This is the point.
So usually a typical day at class for me is just 20 minutes of writing the lecture notes, and then the other 30 is just random stuff I find on the internet. Yeah, I hope my lecturers don't hear this.
So where is the problem? I mean, is it in the student side or lecturer side? I mean, who's the one like should make a policy or some techniques that like could have like two uses of the phone, I mean, during the class, so in a beneficial way for the class itself.
So I guess controlling people is hard. So I feel like it comes down to the person being self-aware about what they are and what they're using those gadgets for. So it's just about self-control. So shut your phone for an hour, close all internet connections. I feel like the best way is just to shut any connection with the outside world. Just, cut your mobile data, don't connect to Wi-Fi, don't connect your laptop to Wi-Fi. More situations than not, people are going to don't be in a position where they just don't know what to do in the absence of the internet, to an extent where they'll be so bored that they'll actually listen to class. So like, I guess it's
just said attention limits.
Yeah, so I guess it's cut all connections.
Yeah. So are we finished with this topic?
I guess, yeah.
All right, so we move on to the third one, which is adoption. I need to know your opinion about adoption, as well as why we would see like the adoption is like rate is higher in Western countries, more in the Muslim countries. Why is that, and should be adoption recommended and encouraged for families to do it?
Yeah, I think adoption should be recommended, especially when we have a lot of children at like welfare centers, and these children don't necessarily live in the best condition. They also have, like on the other side, also have a lot of like families with probably only one child and two children, and they're not necessarily burdened by, they're not necessarily burdened financially or whatever, so they can actually afford to have another child, but they don't have another one, right? So I feel like it should be recommended, especially when I think it's also like, it's also in the Quran, like you always have to do good to orphans, and I think it's a way to become a better person, maybe become more empathetic, become more understanding about how the world is like, and I think we don't normalize the idea of adoption so much, especially in Malaysia. People don't really see the importance of that. People don't really see the importance in taking care of the welfare of like orphans, for instance, like people in adoption centers, and I don't think there's a lot of awareness in that.
I think that lack of awareness sort of stems from romanticizing having your own children, as if that's the ultimate goal of a married couple. But I feel like usually this romanticization comes from a position of ignorance, ignorant to like conditions of other children that might need more help from us than like our future kids, or it comes from a position of ignorance when it comes to actually knowing whether or not having your own child is an easy job. For example, like money, financially, for example, all those things, right? But I also think like this lack of awareness also stems from the fact that I feel like we don't talk about it as much. Like, for example, if my cousins get married, they'll always discuss about kids, about family and everything, but rarely does the option of adoption actually come into mind. And I feel like people are not making it an option because we don't talk about it. So schools don't talk about it. If you have an adopted child, we oftentimes say don't tell him or her that they're adopted, right? As if like being adopted is a really bad thing, but it shouldn't be. So I guess it's just about talking about it more and actually like making it an option when you're married.
Even the emotional linkage. Some parents they are afraid of hurting the emotional of that child, emotional states of that. I mean, it's kind of it's a way that's like didn't let people to go
Yeah.
and to go with adoption.
Yeah.
What do you mean by taking care of the child's feelings? As in, like, not telling the child that the child is adopted?
I mean, they are afraid of hurting them.
Comparing between the real
Yeah,
child and
even
the
though
adopted child.
if I'm gonna love him or her like as much I love my my own children coming from my own blood. So some people think about that a lot.
Yeah.
So that's my
Yeah, I think it goes back to the fact that people romanticize having your
Yeah.
own
Children.
Yeah, so because of the fact that you don't talk about it, then you actually don't see an option in wanting to adopt a child. That's why the conversation about like, oh, I'm not able to be fair and everything comes from. Yeah.
I feel like it's because like we always think of like blood relation as the
Yeah.
highest
Yeah.
position. But like if you think about it, right, like if we get married, we're marrying a person not from a blood relation, but we can still have the same strong emotional
Yeah.
feeling.
Oh,
Like,
that's a good point.
so why can't we have that to another child?
Yeah.
Because like family is just more than just blood.
That's right. Well spoken.
So that's it.
Yeah.
Anything more to add?
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
I guess that's it.
that's all. Yeah.
That's amazing.
Alright.
Proceed with topic number 4, which is personally from me, the idea. So celebrity as a role model.
Oh.
What do you think about it? Is it good or bad?
Is it
Are
good or
they
bad
good
if
role
celebrities become a
models
role
or-
model?
Depends on the celebrity.
Yeah, actually, it depends on the celebrity because we have a lot of kinds of celebrities,
Generally,
right?
In general.
Yeah.
In general, I think they're bad. It's because like so even if they are really good celebrities, they get a lot of money, right? So it's usually their lifestyles are absolutely different from us. We don't experience the same things as them. It's hard to relate. So even if they are good role models, I don't think they should be a role model.
Yeah.
Because it's just hard to relate to a lavish lifestyle of a multi-millionaire celebrity, even though the celebrity gives off a lot of money. It's just, yeah.
Yeah, I think also like them being a role model also puts them on a pedestal. This means that a lot of girls would see them as the ideal
Yeah.
person to be. Especially you see like children nowadays. I mean, kids are on social media now
Yeah.
and they're always idolizing like models, like legit celebrities who are models, right? Like Gigi Hadid and what's her name? Bella Hadid. Yeah, and then so there are unrealistic things that they idolize, and these things are actually harmful because they are putting themselves in a position where they feel like, oh, if I'm not like that, I'm not pretty, I'm not this. I think there's when you let celebrities become role models, that means that like people would always feel like, oh, that's a standard I have to reach. But we all know that standard is unrealistic.
yeah.
I think it's
True.
bad.
Yeah, I agree.
As that also going to the 5th topic, right?
Yeah.
Your topic also. So not very bad, right?
So do you think like government should give away free sanitary pad to people because
Yeah.
it's a natural thing, right?
Yeah,
Yeah,
sure.
biological things happen
Yeah.
to all women.
I
Is there
think,
anything you want to say about this?
yeah, I think it's a shame that the government doesn't provide, they don't even subsidize. Like,
Yeah.
it's really, because it's something we can't control.
Yeah.
And it's expensive.
Yeah.
It's really unfair
Exactly.
because like I'm thankful and privileged enough to be able to afford all these things on a monthly basis. But like just imagine the girls in
Yeah.
girls who are
Underprivileged, yeah.
underprivileged and they don't have like the financial stability to even afford
monthly.
Yeah.
afford it
That's true.
monthly. Yeah,
Yeah.
especially like you want to get the good quality ones,
Yeah,
right?
true.
Yeah, to ensure the safety and everything. I think that it's really not cool that the government isn't providing.
It's an essential.
It's essential, yeah. Something we can't control.
Yeah, I guess I similarly strongly view the same thing as Aida. I feel like when things are essential, but more importantly, it's also a matter of health, because in the absence of getting actual good sanitary pads, it's also a matter of the person's health. And I guess like if you think about it, like Malaysia's healthcare is really cheap, right? So it's like RM1 once we enter, and the reason why is because like apparently the government cares about healthcare, and people's health. So if they do care about people's health, why shouldn't they extend that to actually like caring about things that women have to go through every month? So I guess that's also something we can sort of consider when it comes to like whether or not we should give free sanitary pads, and I think essentially we should.
Yeah.
That's true.
It affects millions of people.
Yeah. We actually have like 4 topics left, but we would have a break for now and
Sure.
continue later, right?
All right.
So stay tuned, guys.
Welcome, guys. Welcome back again to Warzone Show. We will continue with our guest, Aida and Bro Hilmy.
Yes.
We came back again. We will continue with our topics. We've done with the 5th topic, right? So we're going with the 6th one, which is sex education. So should people, especially parents and teachers, start paying more attention to sex education for their children, and why? What's that?
Absolutely. Recently, I've read a case where there's this girl, after learning about sex education later on in her life, like I think it's during high school, realized that the thing that her grandfather was doing onto her was actually rape.
Oh.
So only after learning about sex education, imagine the kinds of things that we could have prevented if we were to have some early exposure. For example, just like parents telling their children if, for example, someone is doing X or Y to them, they should immediately report. And like these are just the basic things that we just need to teach. So I guess that's why we really need sex education, is because a lot of people are actually unaware of the things that are happening to them, but in addition are unaware of the things that they're doing to people as well. So for example, like they don't know the line between yes and no's, or for example like consent, because we never tell them that you should always get consent, for example. So like imagine if you can tell boys, young boys, when they're kids, when they're small, like always ask consent. I guess like people are going to be more self-aware about the things that they're doing, and I guess that's really important, because in the absence of knowledge of sex education, a lot of things are going to go wrong. People don't know to get consent. The other party might not even know what consent is, and might just I don't know. So like the case of the girl with the grandfather, I would assume reasonably that there's a dynamic of power. Of course, the young girl would have been scared and will obviously listen to the grandfather, but like because she wasn't taught about like what to do in those circumstances, so I guess that's why it's really necessary.
That's true.
I think there's also a lot of misrepresentation, misinformation about what sex education is. Like people who are against sex education are saying like, oh, this is like teaching your children how to have sex. And we're like, no, that's not what it is.
Oh, God.
And also this misinformation is super prevalent, because like some people, like adults are opposing this sex education thing being implemented, because they think that, oh, now that children would know how to have sex and everything. I think I think that's a very,
and they always
narrow
link
view.
it with the Islamic religious things.
When it's actually something that's super helpful,
recommended
for you
in
to
Islam,
know,
even
for
from
you to be informed. Like, what are the things that people shouldn't do to you? What are the things you shouldn't do to people? And what is consent? What does it mean? Where is the line? So I think all these things we never learn it when we grow up. Like I can't recall any instance where I learned about consent was when I was in high school. What more when I was in primary school?
Yeah, true.
I think it's really important.
Yeah, even as you say to children, because if I flashback memories of things like me and my other friends, like when we, like there is things happen to us, like we don't really understand it at that age, like what is it exactly, but when we grow up, like we realize what was that. So it was super late, even like a simple touch, a simple, it means a lot. I mean, it keeps in our heart and our memory for forever.
It's really painful to see, like it's on the news every day how children are being molested by their family members, and I think it's just really it's really sad.
Yeah, it is.
And I think sex education would help, because people are now more aware, and parents are also more aware about where they put their children and how they educate them and things like that.
So do you have a sex education in Malaysia schools?
No.
We
Not
don't.
yet?
We don't.
We feed it in
the
we have like
not that. The science textbook. I think it's Form 3.
Yeah, it's science text, but that's about the organs.
Yeah, that's about the organs and scientifically, but not like
I think
other
it's
aspects of
the
it.
same in my country as well. But there were some campaigns from charity works. They explain things to children. But the society was totally opposite of that. I mean, they didn't agree. They was, as you said, they misunderstand the information. They were saying like, why? We are a Muslim society. We are a Muslim country. Why would you, explain such things? We don't have it. While, if you go, in fact, there is a lot of things happen, and people don't give it attention or concern, as you said.
Yeah.
So what do you think, like, for example, here in UIA, should we are I mean we are adult, I know, but should we have a sex education here as well?
Absolutely.
Absolutely. I think people our age also don't know the meaning of consent. They don't know where's the line and everything. So I think it's also important to give awareness onto the matter.
It's like things like retracting consent, for example. 'Cause I can assure you, like, if you were to ask some random stranger outside later, if you were to ask, do you know you can retract consent in any point in time?
Yeah.
Like, those things, I don't think people actually know. They assume, like, consent is a one-off thing and never can be retracted. So, like, these are, like, the basic things about sex education that oftentimes a lot of people don't understand. And it's very detrimental. Some people, you're going to make a lot of people are going to go through a lot of things that I don't think, that I necessarily think can literally be prevented just by giving them the education.
Yeah, true. So we're done?
Yeah, we're done with that topic. So maybe we can proceed with the next one. Online and traditional shopping.
Yeah, which is a very Korean issue for all of us. I think most of us now wearing things from online stores, I guess.
Yeah, I'm actually waiting for my parcel to come.
So, what do you think? Like, which way is considered to be the most oriented today? Traditional or online shopping?
I still think it's a balance of both.
I also think it's a balance of both.
As much as we do online shopping, a lot of people also actually physically to go to malls, right? Like I know like people who absolutely just live in KLCC. It's like their second home.
Also like for me, right? I don't like buying stuff online that much because sometimes you get the wrong size and you get the wrong. It's not the fabric that you want, and it's super tedious for you to like return it back and wait for the thing to come.
The process.
Yeah. But then I think for things like, I don't know, electronics, I think it's usually people.
Electronics are fine.
It's fine as long as you have all the details and all the verification. Yeah.
So do you think we might have a day where no traditional stores will be around, like in the future?
100 years.
I'm not sure. So like in my experience, like there are a lot of things that still require you to be physically there. So things like clothing, all that stuff. It's hard for people to actually have like a one size fit all thing, or like some cuts might be different, or it's also things that require you to experience the thing first before actually deciding. So like for example, buying headphones, you actually have to know how the sound sounds like, rather than trusting the ears of reviewers you listen to online. Actually listening to it means that you actually can make better decisions. So I guess I don't see a world where it is completely I don't see a world where it's completely taken over, but I see a world where online, which is basically happening now, online shopping is facilitating physical shopping rather than one taking over each other.
No, okay. Anything more to add?
So I think, yay, online shopping.
For me,
you want to add?
Yeah, it's just like, I don't know, I feel like it's most convenience way.
Definitely.
Cheapest. So most of my clothes is through
I
online
don't
shopping.
really like online shopping. Usually I always receive the things that,
You don't.
Wrong parcels, like that.
Usually like that.
Okay, that sucks.
And then the hassle afterwards is even harder. You have to return it, then wait more time.
And then
much
the
of a hassle.
process is so, I don't know, difficult, and the whatever.
Yeah.
So last topic, right?
Yeah.
There is university and uniforms. Because we do have dress codes in
Yes, yes.
every university, especially here in UAE. So why
look
they
at
don't?
me.
Why they don't just give us a uniform and just end this whole thing?
So that means so
Are you with or
that people should wear uniforms, is it?
yeah?
I mean,
College students.
I can think of a reason why we should. I think my parents taught me this argument. So the thing is that a world where we let people wear freely, right? You sort of make it easier for us to identify who is actually like in a higher class or who is privileged or not. Because like even now, right? So like even when we have a dress code, but it's a code, not a strict uniform.
Yeah.
Like I literally see people like walking with like LV handbags and like dudes wearing like really expensive backpacks. Like what's that brand? Ted Baker. Yeah, Ted Baker. Yeah. So bags like Ted Baker, all that stuff that are really expensive and the average person can't afford. It's just so easy to know who's rich and who's not. And like sometimes you feel inferior. Like there's a time where I see like people just having their own like really cool bags, right? And I'm just like wearing a hand-me-down, and I'm just like, oh, but I wish I had that. And then, so you beat yourself up, all that. But if you have a uniform, everyone just looks the same.
Yeah, the same.
Yeah, so yes, there are still rich people and poor people, but you don't know which one is which. And I feel like that's when you actually don't do things like, for example, just like create camaraderies around who has more money.
But if you talk about bags, right? Even if they wear uniforms, they would still wear the same bag.
Then we'll make the bags uniform.
So you
Everyone has to
Their
have the same IU bag.
devices, their shoes,
their phones,
Black
right?
shoes.
shoes, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I guess I'm all for like freedom. I think it's also because like there are a lot of. So I think uniforms are restrictive in the sense that you want to go to class feeling comfortable and like especially in a hot weather.
Yeah.
I think uniforms would just be like so much of a hassle. I wouldn't.
What if the uniform is just all black t-shirts?
Okay, but it's not you who decide, right?
Yeah.
Obviously, like, and usually like when you see like high school uniforms,
Yeah.
like for
I want to ask about it,
yeah, for prefects you have to like for me I had to put my hijab in my shirt and I had to wear a blazer and in extremely hot weather like I don't think that's the most preferable thing. Yeah, I think allowing them to wear whatever they want essentially to give them the freedom to be more comfortable with whatever they're wearing to class.
Yeah.
But I kind of like agree with Pro Helmy because when we're wearing a uniform, we won't get labeled by people.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. I think I think also like the cons in letting people wear whatever they want is the fact that the insecurity levels of people would increase. People would compare themselves with other people. They would, and I don't think that's healthy as well.
So is there any multi-university that
That has a
I don't think so.
Pre-universities do have.
Yeah, pre-university.
Have,
Yeah.
like KTJ, right?
Yep.
KTJ.
Yeah, they do.
Like
a very
KTJ.
strict uniform?
Yep,
Yeah,
yeah.
they wear, like, high school uniform.
Khaki pants, white
And blazers.
white shirt and like a maroon tie.
KY tak?
No, that's KYS.
KY,
No,
yeah,
KYS
it's
is that uniform. No, but I know KTJ also has their own uniform.
Yeah.
Cool.
Pre-universities, but I don't think like there's any like actual
University.
universities.
Yeah, because the general idea of university is, free to do whatever you...
You're adults.
Yeah.
and
Yeah, exactly.
face off.
Yeah, true.
Yeah.
So should we go with the break for now?
Yeah.
Before?
Can we?
So stay tuned, people.
All right.
Done? Hello, welcome back to
Hello.
our show. So we're gonna proceed with a few more questions about you guys.
Okay.
Personal one.
Personal one because you guys are joining debate in UAE, which is huge. UAE
It's huge.
because I've heard a lot about the achievement that students from debate club
Recently,
and, and so I just want to ask you guys, since when do you start to join debate?
I started debating when I was in CFS, the Foundation Studies Center of Foundation Studies. Yeah, so started in CFS and then continued in main campus until now, 3rd year.
I started in high school in 2010.
Okay.
So yeah,
It's been how many years?
10.
Oh
10
my
years,
God.
yeah.
Wanted to find an excuse to skip class. Still looking forward.
Why do you find this passion toward debating?
Yeah.
Huh.
I mean, what was the orientation?
I would go to McDonald's.
Yeah.
I don't know. I guess where do I get the passion?
motivations,
The
the
passion.
passion.
I don't know, I just like talking.
Oh, okay. Makes sense.
But like talking with substance is another thing.
Yeah.
It's like double better
Yeah.
than just
for sure.
it's more better than just talking. It's like talking with actual substance. It's also interesting, you know, the adrenaline you get in rounds, the heartbreaks, the success stories. Those are the things that you look forward to.
Yeah, I think it's also like you like the attention, right? You're the only one talking. Yeah, I also like the adrenaline rush and I don't know, it's just the conversations that we have in the debate club, and also the person that I've become after I joined the club. I've become a more informed person, more empathetic person. I think that's always a good thing.
Yeah. What about your confidence? I mean, when you're
that one. So when I started debating, it was a bit hard. And I think I still struggle from being confident with whatever I'm talking about. He knows because he's my trainer. He's our trainer. But it really helps with your confidence, especially when outside of debating, I think you're able to possess at least the minimum threshold of being confident with presentations and oral submissions and whatever. So I think it's helpful. So.
Are you okay until now on a stage on debating?
I guess so. I sometimes do get stage frights as well. So just thinking about whether you're actually going to do a good job. Am I ready to actually go on that stage? A lot of doubts, but I guess you just learn to ignore it.
He's gotten used to it because he's been through.
We're shaking in presentation.
So it's untrue that you don't get nervous, but confidence is just your ability to hide that you're nervous.
Fake it till you make it.
You fake it.
You gotta fake it.
Okay, so what's the biggest achievement you have achieved so far?
I was a World's University Debate Championship English as a second language grand finalist.
It's huge.
It's huge.
Recently in Cape Town last year. But we lost the finals. I was teaming up with one of our seniors, Shitab Dayanakash. That was it. Oh, also shout out to my teammate for also getting to Asian finals.
Trainer also is a big achievement.
And then you made it to Cape Town. It doesn't matter, win or lose, but
It's Cape Town.
Yeah.
Debating takes you places.
These are places. He went to Cape Town. He went to the UK. Stayed there for 2 weeks.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
Oh my
Cape
God,
Town.
we're lucky to have you guys here today. Oh my God, what about you?
Oh, what about me?
maybe you can talk about your singing.
Yeah, it's time for you to sing.
Aside from debating, I also sing. I have a band.
That's the newest album.
I have a single out on digital platforms on Spotify. So my band is called Jetcetera. It's etc. with a J. And we had just had we just had one single out last year. We're recording another single, and it's gonna be out in probably a month or 2 from now, hopefully.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh my
So
God.
I'm kind of juggling law school, debating, and also singing.
Hectic life, I see.
But it's okay. It's been fun. I mean, I love debating. I can't leave debating, so I'm still here.
She sold her soul to it.
I've sold my soul.
Yeah, that's a great relief. But would you let us hear something?
Now, live?
Yeah.
But I don't have an instrument.
Is it okay without instrument?
A cappella.
Yeah, I can. Do you want me?
Yeah.
Why Why not?
We're exciting. Like, wow.
Play Damn Johnny.
Okay.
Damn Johnny, yeah.
Damn Johnny, you know you stand a chance. For you I do things that may not make sense. Damn Johnny, you hear all these things inside your head. Johnny, you're not meant for me.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a snippet to our music.
That's beautiful. Wow. I mean, like, do you find it, hard to sing in front of people?
Oh, so I've been singing for like my whole life, since longest time. So I've gotten used to performing since I was like in primary school.
Wow.
I don't really get jitters on stage. It's just that before I perform, I would like just overthink a bit about like, what if I fuck up? What if I screw up? What if I? Oops. Yeah. But
Cut.
Edit that out.
but I get extremely jittery when it comes to debating. So I don't know why like there's an extreme difference.
Yeah.
So I don't feel super nervous when I sing, but when I debate before a tournament or whatever, like I just get super nervous.
So you're in a band.
Yes.
Is Bro Hilmy part of your
No.
So yeah, we
No.
would like to hear you singing or.
No, I'm bad. I'm bad at singing.
Really.
So when did you start to be in the band?
Oh, I started the band like in 2017. So I started with a friend of mine and we found our members on Facebook. So we just decided to meet up and we're like, okay, let's start this band. And we started performing around KL. We're gonna perform in Johor for the first time in 2 months. In 2 months, yeah. Hopefully, yeah. So yeah.
We're really lucky to have you here today.
Okay, so just like I thought, I would like to share. So I used to sing also in high school. Because you said you started singing when you were in primary school. So like, did you ever get bullied or something?
Oh, I never.
Did people make fun of you?
Oh yeah, definitely. People made fun of me. Like people didn't want to be friends with me. People were saying like I sounded fake.
Zami.
I sounded fake and I sounded like I was faking my voice, but like my singing voice and my speaking voice, they should be different.
Yeah, they should be
Yeah,
different.
but then I grew out of that. I didn't really care. I mean, I know I don't sound the best, but
yeah,
I find passion in it, and I have friends.
That's enough.
I have friends who support. Thank you. Shout out to my friends who support my music career.
I bet the people who say that don't know how to sing.
Yeah, so I'm fine. I'm fine now. Yeah.
So like, Bro Hilmy, do you have anything outside apart from debate? Your
Outside of
towards like art. Your passion towards art. Do you have like? Do you love drawing?
I like organizing stuff.
Oh.
So
Marie Kondo.
yeah, I like Marie Kondoing stuff. So like I actually love doing things like I'm actually interested in things like interior designing a bit. So I just not a passion. It's more like I'm really interested in it. So I read all of these interior designing magazines. Look at like Pinterest, all those stuff, right? And I try to emulate that in my room.
Yeah,
So-
I was like about to say, we want to see your room.
My room is I feel like my room is
Pretty organized.
pretty organized. Everything has its place.
Oh.
Alright, so like roughly judge. I mean, like I cannot say that, but like I guess you guys are Malay, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
So Malay, Bahasa Melayu is your first language.
Yes.
Yes.
So where do you find the confidence to speak in English, in front of people?
I think it's
Practice.
it's practice.
Is it like your upbringing?
I was never fluent back in school. But with practice, like, so I wasn't really fluent in high school, but then throughout high school I spoke English a lot.
Yeah.
Especially like you would have to present stuff, you have to communicate with people, and so with practice, I guess. Like I don't think now I'm even like super fluent in English either. So
Yeah, it's a learning process.
it's
but
a constant learning process,
Yeah,
and
it is.
as long as you practice all the time.
As long as I have a group, I feel like I'm lucky because I have a group. I have groups of friends that
Yeah,
all
yeah.
speak English.
Yeah.
So it's the
Yeah.
same group. You just practice all the
So you
time.
don't usually speak Malay.
I do have a. I have also my high school friends.
I think it's
Oh.
usually just like we mix the language.
Yeah.
We do too in Arabic as well.
So like we can speak from like English to
Malay?
like Malay to like rumpit.
Real quick.
Yes,
Real
real quick.
Okay, one last question. So, is there anyone, your inspiration in doing debate?
In debating.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
You?
Oh,
I don't know. Who you find?
so in high school I had 4 people that I looked up to in debating. And then they were just like, I just knew them through YouTube videos because like that's all we can actually find who these people are. So like 2 of them are Malaysian, 2 are Singaporean. Arina Najwa used to be a IUM debater. Also
My name is Najwa.
also in high school I looked up to there's a person called Mai Mohsin. She's from UiTM Shah Alam. One Singaporean named Robin Teo. And one more is Lee Sheng Wu. He debate for Oxford. He used to be Lim Kuan Yew's grandchild.
Oh.
Yeah,
It's like
Lee Kuan Yew's grandchild. Yeah.
Yeah. Mine is Amira Natasha Moore and Steph White. Also because
yeah.
because so in debating we have Prime Minister, DPM and Whip, right? So Amira Natasha Moore and Steph are really good Prime Ministers. So and I also usually do the Prime Minister position.
Yeah.
So I really look up to them. I watch their videos and yeah, it's
That's
really inspiring.
yeah, it is. So sadly, it's time almost end.
Yeah.
It end. So it's time to part for each other.
All right.
So it was very nice talking to you guys.
It's nice being here.
Like we appreciate your presence here. You know, letting us have some of your time.
Thank you
No
so
problem.
You
much.
know, it's a Friday weekend.
Nah, no problem. We don't have a weekend.
We have a debate tournament.
We have a debate tournament tomorrow.
Good luck.
No, we're organizing it actually.
Okay.
Oh, but I'm debating.
Oh, you are debating. I'm judging.
Yeah, he's a core adjudicator.
Of course.
Okay, so is there any last word from you? For those people who are, scared to debate,
Come join. It's not scary.
Yeah, so our training is on Mondays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays. So it starts at 8 p.m. ends at 10 p.m. and it's usually an iCall. And we would recommend people to come and join.
So there is no registration.
No,
There's
no.
registration. So you can,
There's not.
if you want to inquire about anything, you can just go on to our Twitter or Facebook or Instagram to ask the venue and everything. So we really recommend.
It's an open door policy.
Yeah.
Just come in.
Just come and we
Even
can.
a 0 level.
Yeah, 0. So we have beginners training on Tuesday. So that's where we look at all the basics from A to Z. And then Monday and Wednesdays are usually the intermediate to advanced training,
okay.
where we don't teach the basics. We already assume you know the basics. We go to one step higher.
So is it okay for me to come and just sit there
Yeah.
and just watch?
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Sometimes we have meta sessions
Yeah.
where we discuss things about international relations and politics. So
Economics.
just come and just.
Yeah, maybe we
You-
will have the motivation.
You should just come if you want to watch so right now we're having this system where it's a split training, so one day is an actual debate and the other is a lecture. So you can come choose to watch an actual debate and see people arguing against each other, or you can come just to sit down and have a meta session. Might learn something new about the world.
Yeah.
Okay, so sadly,
Yeah,
then we
we
end
end here.
here.
Alright.
Thank you so much, guys, for joining our show today. So for the IIUM FM listeners, don't give up on our love.
Yeah.
We'll
We'll be waiting for you again at the same time and a place. Yeah, with another enjoyable content and awesome guests as well. So see you again next Friday in a Warzone show where people wish and we grant. Bye bye.
Alright, goodbye.